Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to save in Photopea and then upload them to a new document so that everything can be framed as one, so that you are turning in your projects as one image instead of having to turn in multiple. So in a previous video, I created this document as a Twitter header and then copied the same layers to a Twitter profile. So now what I'm going to do is save them as PNGs and then open them up on one document and save that document as an additional PNG so that it looks something like this. And I'll show you how to do that now. So I went up to it's still a PSD. I'm going to export as PNG. JPEG would also work. The only difference really is that PNG holds a little more detail. Format, PNG, width, this is all fine. I'm not going to change anything. So I'm going to click on save. PNG image, I've already renamed it. And this is going to go into my desktop where I had that original Twitter header folder. So I'm going to open it, and here it's going to save. Twitter header, Weaver, PNG, save. There it is. Now I'm going to go over to my new project, in which I did not rename yet, but I will when I go to save it, so you can see how that's done. Export as PNG. This all looks good. Save. Changing this is going to be a Twitter profile, Weaver. Save. I'm going to make a new document. I'm okay with using any of these really, because any of these things would be probably just fine because we're going to shrink them. Though it does sort of seem like maybe perhaps using something a little bit wider would be wise of us to do, because we are going to be including two different things. We are going to be including the Twitter profile and the Twitter header. So all I'm going to do is look at how many pixels that the square is made up of, which is 400. And then the width of this is going to be, of course, 1500. So I'm just going to add 400 and some change to it. So I'm really going to just make this 2000 pixels and create. I want this to be a black background. So I'm going to go to hold and click. Paint bucket tool is under the gradient tool. I'm going to change this to black. I'm going to use it. So now my background is black. I'm going to open the two files that I created. Wonder if I can do it this way. Indeed I can. So now look at all these tabs I have going. So now I can grab a hold of this. So you'll see that it has been condensed. It's no longer multiple layers, it's just one. This is why we did that. So I'm going to, actually I need to open a few things here. Come on, you. When you drag and drop, you should be able to see them in here, but perhaps I'm not entirely sure why it's not working for us. Another option, of course, I believe, is to just hold Control and then select the letter C. Control Z to undo. Maybe that wasn't working because I had to, oh, I see what happened. I think I was just using the paintbrush tool to try and move it. And normally you could be able to do that in Photoshop, but maybe that's why it wasn't working. Yep, that's it. Here we go. Way to use your head, Weaver. Thank you. All right, they don't quite fit well here, but there is enough space for them. So all I'm going to do is shrink it slightly. Oop, hold the Shift key. Hold that Shift key. To what? That's right, maintain proportions. All I'm trying to do is really move these images around so that they take up an appropriate space. Hold the Shift key, maintain proportions. I'm trying to make these the exact same size for presentation purposes. I can see now that perhaps the number I used was slightly too large, and I'm not really a big fan of the way that these look. In Photoshop, when you align things, they give you little guidelines that pop up so that you can see that they are equal. So I really like how this looks. I need to now crop it because I'm not a fan of the way that the black overhangs on the other side. Ooh. I wondered if it would do that. This is how it actually, what we're seeing right now is how it handles slightly different than Photoshop. In Photoshop, you would not have these extra outlines. Here we are. That's good enough. File, export as PNG. Save, save. Now, what we could see is if we click on that, this is the image that we are left with. Our Twitter handle, our header, and our Twitter profile. And then you submit this image as a PNG to Schoology.